Channel Sports Central will be going over a college football game preview on one of the big ACC matchups coming up in week number 8. And this one's going to be between NC State and North Carolina, kind of an old rivalry between both of these teams. And obviously, North Carolina has been a team that has been a top 5 team already this season. They've looked like a great team, but they fell, however, to Florida State last week, which was a terrible loss for them. And they're trying to bounce back this week against an NC State team, which really has actually been one of the better teams in the ACC so far this year. They're sitting at 4-1 right now, and they finally cracked the rankings. But this should be an interesting matchup between both these teams to see which team is actually the real one. Obviously, NC State really hasn't had their time to shine yet, but this could be a huge game for NC State, especially in making a statement in the ACC. So a very intriguing matchup here, and we're going to be going over a full preview and prediction on this one, starting out with your team trends. And then last week, of course, North Carolina, they lost to Florida State 20-31. Really rough loss for North Carolina. Obviously, they were the 5th-ranked team in the country last week when they played Florida State, and there was a lot of pressure for this team led by Sam Howell. And obviously, I mean, they've got a lot of talent on this North Carolina team right now. It just did not come to be against Florida State last week. So, I mean, it was a big win for Florida State, but on the other side, North Carolina, that was a really bad loss, especially if you're wanting to make a run to the college football playoff, which, I mean, there's a chance that North Carolina could make a run for it, but, I mean, after losing to Florida State, I mean, that really makes their chances much, much lower than how they were before. As for NC State, they beat Duke last week 31-10. Great win for NC State, winning that game by 3 touchdowns. And honestly, NC State has really been slept on, I think, all season long. I mean, they're 4-1 now. They've got one of the best records in the ACC, and they've got a couple of good wins as well. I mean, they've had a couple of close wins, but still, they've had 4 wins, which is all around really good for the ACC right now. They're actually ranked 23rd in the nation heading into this matchup, and they also have a 3-game winning streak too. So NC State has got a lot of momentum heading into this matchup with the Tar Heels, which North Carolina is ranked 14th now. They're 3-1, and they've got a 1-game losing streak once again heading into this matchup, obviously because they lost to Florida State last week. This game's going to be on Saturday, October 24th, noon Eastern in Chapel Hill, so North Carolina will be your home team for this matchup. Spread currently says North Carolina by 15.5. It is heavily favoring the Tar Heels right now, which I think, I mean, this matchup I think is going to be much closer than what people are thinking. I think, North Carolina should not be a favorite by 15.5. I think a more accurate spread would probably be North Carolina by 7 or 8. But yeah, the spread's very heavy towards the North Carolina right now. As far as it goes for ESPN FPI, they've also got North Carolina 70%. Vegas prediction has North Carolina in a blowout. 30-15 is the projected score there out of Vegas right now. And obviously, this is still being recorded pretty early on in the week. So there is a chance that we do see these spreads and the Vegas prediction change as the week goes on. But this is just what we're looking at earlier on in the week. Obviously, North Carolina is your heavy favorite through all of these sources. For your stat comparison, these are your 2020 current stats through the last couple of games for both these teams. Obviously, NC State's got 33 points per game, 31 points allowed per game, so they have allowed 31 points in comparison to North Carolina's 26. They've also got 239 pass yards a game, 153 rush yards on average, then 268 pass yards allowed along with 153 rush yards. So NC State's looking pretty good on the stat side, but I'd say North Carolina's looking better. They've got 35 points per game, 26 points allowed. 289 pass yards a game, obviously with Sam Howell. He's been playing really well recently. As well as, if Sam Howell can just drop the picks on his end, and if he can be more of an accurate quarterback, I think that this North Carolina team is set. But yeah, Sam Howell, he's still a very young quarterback. I think this is only his 2nd season. He was a true freshman last year, and so I think for North Carolina, if he can just drop those interceptions, that'd be a first big step in making way for a great quarterback in Sam Howell. But they also have 229 rush yards a game, which is a great stat. 218 pass yards allowed, 152 rush yards allowed too on the Tar Heels side. As for the games that both teams have played, obviously NC State's beaten Duke. They also beat Virginia on October 10th, 38-21. They beat Pittsburgh, which was ranked 24th at the time, by 30-29, and that was after losing to Virginia Tech, the 20th ranked team in the nation at the time, 24-45. And obviously Virginia Tech is looking like a great team right now. So honestly, I don't really think that loss is all that terrible, even though they did lose by 19 points or by 21 points. But still, I mean, in the end, it's still it just depends on, the momentum. And honestly, the momentum for NC State, I'd say, is much greater than on the North Carolina side right now. Meanwhile, for North Carolina, they lost to Florida State once again, 20-31. They did, however, beat Virginia Tech, which they won that game in a shootout, 56-45. So if you look at how both teams played Virginia Tech, obviously NC State lost to them by 21. Meanwhile, North Carolina beat them by 11, so that is something that you do have to take into consideration here as we look at both teams. But North Carolina did also beat Boston College 26-22 in a close one. They should have probably won that game by more. And they also beat Syracuse 31-6. So in the end, I'd probably say North Carolina's got the better wins. But NC State in the end still, I'd say, has more momentum as they're coming off of 3 pretty decent wins. Some key points for this one. Obviously, North Carolina took their first loss last week. NC State has got a lot of momentum right now. And then Sam Howell is definitely one of the main underrated quarterbacks. I mean, he's put up some great stats already this season. I think he's probably put up some better stats previously in his career back last year, but still, I think he's got a lot of time to improve. And considering how young he is, yeah, Sam Howell is a quarterback to watch out for in the future. I think he's going to be the ACC's main quarterback within the next couple of seasons. So watch out for quarterback Sam Howell. That is going to be a big thing that NC State needs to handle is putting pressure on Sam Howell and making sure he does not have much time to get his passes out, because, I mean, obviously he's a great quarterback, very accurate. He's thrown some great passes, and he's got some great stats too. So NC State's definitely going to have to stop him if they're going to have any chance of winning this game. But do expect a higher scoring game here. I think both teams obviously put up some big numbers as far as the offenses go. So I think in the end we are going to see a higher scoring game here. And I think in the end, it's going to be more of a shootout game. We will see North Carolina get the win, though. I think North Carolina is going to have a close one against NC State. NC State's going to hang around for pretty much this entire game, and it's going to come right down to the wire. But I think North Carolina just grinds out a win at last second. 34-28 is going to be your final score. I think the Tar Heels do sneak away with a win here. But NC State, I went back and forth on this matchup a ton. It would not surprise me a single bit to see NC State get the win, but I just think Mack Brown, I mean, in this team, I just don't see them taking 2 losses in a row. I think North Carolina is better than that. I think they definitely should get a win here in week number 8 and bounce back from their bad loss against Florida State. Obviously, I still think North Carolina is a great team. I don't think that they're a top 5 team this season, maybe not even a top 10 team, but North Carolina definitely still is, I would say, a good top 15 team, probably one of the better teams as well. Definitely in the top quarter of the ACC this year. And so I think North Carolina, once again, has got the potential here. I think they get the win in the end over NC State. 34-28 will be the final score here in a close one. But do let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. But then, again, thanks again for watching. Let me know your score predictions down below. If you enjoyed this preview, slap a like on it, subscribe as well. Really helps out the channel. But then again, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central, and I will see you all later.